She was convinced her secret would remain concealed, believing I would never uncover the truth. But when the evidence finally surfaced, everything unraveled in front of her. She would look into my eyes, hold my hand, whisper words of devotion, while quietly betraying me behind the scenes. What she never knew was that I had installed discrete security cameras throughout our home, initially for safety, but they captured much more than that. I waited, silently, for the right moment to confront her with undeniable proof of her infidelity. That moment came during a gathering we hosted, where I exposed her lies to everyone in attendance. You never imagine you'll find yourself at the center of such a painful and tangled betrayal. I once believed love was an unbreakable shield, that trust was the strongest foundation two people could share. Handing your heart to someone, I thought, meant they would cherish and protect it. But my wife didn't simply break my heart. She crushed my faith entirely, all while wearing a mask of devotion. For a long time, I nearly convinced myself that I was being paranoid, that my suspicions were nothing more than stress-induced illusions. But once I reviewed the footage, saw what she did when she believed she was unobserved, I knew there was no turning back. If she had been bold enough to betray me in private, then I would be just as bold in revealing her deceit in public. To the outside world, we appeared perfect, a model couple. We had been married for 7 years, building our life together. I was completely absorbed in running my software startup, while she worked part-time organizing events. We had our routines, spontaneous weekend trips, and posted cheerful anniversary pictures that friends admired. But behind the polished surface, things were quietly falling apart. She became distant, emotionally withdrawn. I would come home to find her acting startled, as if I had interrupted something secret. When I asked, she would dismiss my concerns with gentle reassurance. "You're just overworked, honey." The signs crept in slowly. Her phone was always flipped screen down. She started disappearing for hours, giving vague explanations about where she was. She dressed up more, though not for me. I noticed unfamiliar fragrances on her when she returned from these outings. The intimacy between us faded, replaced by cold excuses. Fatigue, stress, headaches. Every attempt I made to reconnect was met with frustration and irritation. At first, I resisted my growing suspicions. I didn't want to become a husband who spies on his wife, but my instincts kept pulling me toward the truth. Eventually, I gave in. Our house was outfitted with smart technology, security cameras, voice assistants, and cloud backups, all originally installed for protection. I had rarely checked them, until the night she claimed she was visiting her cousin. Something about her demeanor felt off that evening, so I decided to review the footage. What I saw shook me to my core. Roughly 30 minutes after she left, a man arrived at our home. She greeted him at the door, wearing delicate lingerie I had never seen before. They embraced passionately right in the dining room. The curtains were wide open as he lifted her onto the table, oblivious to everything else. My hands trembled as I watched, my chest tightening with a mixture of rage, heartbreak, and disbelief. But I didn't confront her immediately. I knew that an impulsive confrontation would only lead to tears, lies, and denials. Instead, I planned carefully. I saved the video footage and waited for the perfect moment. 3 weeks later, we were hosting our annual spring celebration, a party she had meticulously planned. Friends, family, and colleagues filled our home. She had no idea that I was sitting on the very evidence that would shatter her carefully crafted image. I rented a projector for the occasion, telling her it would enhance the ambience of the event. She loved the idea, unaware of what I had prepared. Just after 10 p.m., while the guests were chatting and sipping their drinks, I started projection. The room fell silent. At first, some guests assumed it was a funny video, until the reality set in. There she was on screen, wrapped in another man's arms, in our home, wearing revealing lingerie. The murmurs grew louder. Someone dropped a glass that shattered on the floor. Her father covered his face in shame. She turned toward me, her face drained of color, eyes wide and mouth trembling. "How could you do this?" she whispered, her voice cracking. I didn't respond. The footage spoke louder than any words could. She bolted from the room, her closest friends rushing after her. The chaos that followed was overwhelming. She attempted to twist the narrative, accusing me of being cruel for not handling it privately. But no amount of deflection could erase the undeniable evidence. We separated within days. She moved out, and I remained in the house. The man she had cheated with vanished from her life as soon as the video spread. She sent me one bitter message. "You've ruined my reputation." I never replied. She had violated every vow we made, and I felt no remorse for revealing the truth. Some have asked whether I regret the way I exposed her, the public humiliation, the shock of it all. I don't. She had no problem deceiving me openly while maintaining a facade for everyone else. She forced me into silence for months. And when the truth came out, it needed to be just as public as her lies. Since then, I've begun therapy, try to process the emotional wreckage she left behind. Healing is slow but steady. I've learned a painful truth. Love can blind you, but facts are merciless. If your instincts are screaming at you, don't ignore them. Sweet words and tender gestures can mask devastating deception. The people closest to you can be the most skilled at hiding who they really are. She believed her secret was safe. But I had the proof. And now, so did everyone else.